Hey guys, it's Tinker Tailor here today, bringing you day 20 of the A to Z challenge. This one was such a relief to do after yesterday's video and build, and I felt a lot better, and I got inspired by this roof piece. That was my entire inspiration. So if you've never seen Fresh Pick before, he is a streamer, he's an Aussie like me, he's really, really good. He made this really cool I think it's like 80s Memphis inspired build. And yeah, he used that somewhere and I was like, oh, I've got to use that in my train station. I was gonna make it more of an older style train station, like a kind of like how King's Cross kind of looks, I guess. I don't know. I've never been there. I have no idea if that's what it actually looks like. But it's just an older sort of more dated but very beautiful style. Um, and then I saw this and went, yeah, no, never mind. And I went a completely different way. And this actually ends up being heavily inspired by the Singapore Metro. I believe it's called the SMRT, which I think stands for the Singapore Metro Rail Transit, something like that. Um, Obviously, it's not in English. I've never thought about that. What language do you speak in Singapore? Probably find that out before. They speak Malay, English, Tamil, and Singaporean Mandarin. Interesting. So yeah, the Singapore SMRT. SMRT, there we go. Oh my goodness. Okay, so it's called the MRT, but the S stands for Singapore. And it's just the rail network. And it's really, really cool. So it stands for the Mass Rapid Transit System. So I was totally wrong. But yeah, I actually have been on it before. About probably 8 years ago. And so that's kind of what the inspiration for this is. And this is also I've done a lot of research and studying into East Coast Australian transport systems thanks to uni. It's such a random thing to be studying. It's not really at all related to my degree. I mean, it kind of is, kind of isn't. But yeah, the system, like, it's actually kind of pretty cool because I'm pretty sure Sydney has a metro that is like inspired by Singapore. And I'm pretty sure because Brisbane's hosting the Olympic Games, I'm pretty sure they're doing a mass update of their system, and I'm pretty sure Melbourne's got some stuff going on down there as well. So yeah, all three of those places are like updating and upgrading. I know that Brisbane's the one hosting the games, but again, I had to research a little bit for class. Um, the Some of the games are not just being held in Brisbane because I believe it's actually the state of Queensland that is hosting it, not the city of Brisbane. But it's, well, I don't know, because it's like it's held in the capital of that state. I'm pretty sure, like every Olympics. But I've read somewhere that they might be doing games all up and down the east coast, so that's why um it's not just Queensland upgrading, it's also New South Wales and Victoria. If you're not an Aussie, yeah, those are the main three East Coast states. We have Tasmania, obviously, as well, but it's its own little island, and then we obviously have the ACT, which is where Canberra is, which is actually our capital city. Apparently, not a lot of people know that. I guess being an Aussie, you learn that all the time. Like it's drilled into you from primary school, which if you're American, that's elementary school. If you're elsewhere in the world, I don't know. It's your first 6 years of schooling. It used to be 7, but now it's 6. And we don't have middle school, we just have primary and high. Although some places, I know that some private schools will have middle school just because it's easier for them to split it into 3, and like it becomes a lot more manageable for all of like the deputy principals and things like that. But yeah, if just at normal public school you have the yeah, anyway. What was I saying? Yeah, so this was inspired by Singapore a little bit. I have actually been there, as I said, but it was 8 years ago, so if anything's different, anything's changed, I have no idea. But one really important thing I think that's important that I did was actually create these little elevators. So in a previous video, I was talking about how I wanted the game to be more accessible, and that it kind of just sucks that there's only stairs. There's no elevators that you can use across multiple levels, and there's no ramps either, which is super unfortunate. So I actually made these elevators myself from scratch. They're not real, they don't work, but I thought it would be really cute to, well, not cute, but like really handy to make these because a lot of different, a lot of different, I guess train sites and whatnot actually have a lot of elevators. And like I said, I've been all up and down the east coast of Australia. I've been to multiple different train stations. I've been to just places like airports and museums and all these other buildings, and a lot of them have elevators. So I think it would be super handy if we could actually properly use elevators. I'm not entirely sure why we can't, but it would be really cool if we could. So yeah, I had to kind of make my own. And I left a bit of space around the elevators so that if you were getting in and out, if you had like a wheelchair or a pram or you just don't like people, there's heaps of space to like move around. And they're on all 3 levels. So one thing I forgot to do was put in some top up. I put in these like card top up spots, but I forgot to put them on the side where you can access them through the elevator. I also put these little scanner things into the game, which you'll see in a little bit, to act as like where you tap your card, and they disappeared, so they're gone. So we'll just pretend that they're there, and just not be sad that they're not. Anyway, yeah, and I also did widen the platform, so if you're a bit worried about how narrow the walkway between the platform and the stairs are, I do widen that later on. I just put those little fences down. They're supposed to be like flat with the ground, but obviously they're not, but we'll pretend they are. But no, I wanted to put them like that because in Singapore they actually have little marked out lanes like that, and everyone stands behind them, and then everyone who's getting off can get off, and then the people who are trying to get on are actually out of the way, and I think it's so super smart. And it really creates a sense of like, I don't want to say community, but like it's definitely not, it's a lot less pushy and rude there, that's all I'm gonna say. And I think more people should implement that sort of stuff of like not being pushy and rude. Because the transport is very common. It's not going to not show up, it'll be there. Especially with increased populations, I know that a lot of places are actually increasing their timetables so that they can allow for more public transport and like be less squishy. And I'm pretty sure there are like more roadworks and stuff being done as well to like increase that. So yeah, there's just like a lot of things going on to improve transportation, whether it be public or private. And what I personally would like to see is more walkable places. Um, I'm pretty sure in Melbourne there's a tram that is like a sightseeing tram. Um, it takes you like a loop around the city, but it's free. And I think that's super cool because when I was visiting one time, um, yeah, we were going between a bunch of places and obviously, oh, not obviously, there was a bunch of us, so like we had to catch mostly public transport or two maxi taxis, I think. Um, yeah, anywhere. And yeah, it was really, really good to have that tram there because it was easy to move around. Um, I'm not sure if Brisbane and City, if they have free transport. I think Brisbane's got a free bus loop. That, well, it's a loop. It does a loop. It goes around in a circle, in a square, in a weird shape. Um, but I'll have to double check Sydney because I don't know if they have any. Um, and yeah, it's quite interesting. Um, I think free public transport in some places is actually really handy, because it means that you just get around a lot easier. Um, so yeah, if I visit those places, I'm definitely gonna take advantage of the free public transport, if there is any. But yeah, at the moment, apparently there's a lot of public transport work going on, thanks to the Olympic Games in 2040, 2036. I don't know. 20, or is it 2030? I don't know. Anyway, these are the little scanner ones that I put in, and I was just in the build before taking some video shots and screenshots for some reels, shorts, and the thumbnail, and also a post on Instagram. And yeah, I noticed they disappeared, which is really sad because like I really enjoyed it. Um, and I really hope that nothing else disappeared. But anyway, yeah, I was really happy with this build because it didn't take me all that long to do what I wanted to do. Um, yesterday's build I had 7.5 hours worth of footage. This one I had, I think, 3 hours and 20, and an hour of that was streaming. It was exactly an hour that I cut out actually. So this was about 2 hours. Actually, it was 2 hours and 4 minutes exactly. So I don't. Oh, I took some breaks. That's right. Took some breaks, so I cut those out. But yeah, it felt really good to do this build. I'm really happy that I did do it. I'm really happy I did it on a smaller lot. Originally, I was going to do it on a 50 by 40, but that's a bit ridiculous. And yeah, like I said, I was really happy with the way it ended up. I tried to make it as accessible as possible. With these trams, I guess you'd call them. In Singapore, the gap between the whoops, I forgot to cut that out. Sorry. That's from my stream, but as soon as it's finished, we will head over to yeah, the rest of the build. No, the gap between the tram and the platform, like where the doors opened, it was like millimeters. Like I don't think you could even drop your phone down that. It was that small. Um, and I think Sydney tried to replicate that. Because I've been on Sydney trains, and sometimes the gap between the train and the platform is like 1,000 years. Like I have to jump, and it's embarrassing. Like I'm getting off the train with all these average to tall people, and I'm having to launch myself to or from the train. Um, but yeah, the from what I've heard, the metro is really good. And I think some of the platforms actually in Sydney, in Central, have been upgraded. So I think they're a bit more less launch yourself across the platform and more step off. So yeah, it's quite interesting to hear about. Um, yeah, no, that was kind of all of the inspiration for this build. And I was also not going to do this build on stream. I was really, really tired yesterday and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna raid out. And then the person I was going to raid out to raided me and I was like, excuse me? Alright, I guess I will be building then. And then so I did. So yeah, I'm kind of glad that I did because I got a lot more energy back. Sometimes I get excited and the excitement gives me energy, but I definitely only built for like an hour or half an hour. I think have a look. I think it was about an hour. Yeah, because I was just exhausted. I'd not slept well the night before. I had probably like 5 to 6 hours sleep. I don't function if I don't get between 7.5 and 8.5. And I've been getting a lot of like 7 hours sleep, so I'm like just not getting enough sleep. But last night I did a lot better. I think I got the 7.5 that I needed. But I'm hoping that soon I will get some 8 hour nights of sleep. I definitely need to take some of my sleep tea. I got it from an Australian company that works with Indigenous Australians who create it, and they're so good and they work really well. So it's all native plants. None of it. There's no extra special fun things that people add to it. Like I know some people take, I think, melatonin. I don't know. They take something to help them sleep, and you know, if it works for you, it works for you. But I like to investigate natural paths first, and if that works, fantastic. I know that, like, I know what I'm putting in my body, and it's been used for thousands of years. But if it's never been used before, I'm a little pensive. I kind of don't want to put something into my body that maybe we haven't done as much research into. And the other thing is, women in research hasn't really been a thing up until like the 1990s, which is not that long ago. It's actually quite interesting if you have a look into how and why that happened. Long story short, scientists didn't want to deal with women's hormones because it's too much work to try and account for all of that to see if it affects it. But women have basically been seen as tiny men when it comes to medication. So I'm gonna wait until women-focused studies of certain medications come out so that I can make sure it's actually safe for me. Whereas if it says it's safe for men, then congratulations, men, you can use it. But I'm not a man, so definitely gonna try and take more natural options until I know that men-made options are actually safe for me in particular. That's just I like to be a bit cautious of what I put into my body. I don't like to just put random things in. I don't really even drink. Like I did have one or two at New Year's, but it just doesn't make me feel good at all. I just get tired and then I feel a little nauseous no matter how much or how little I drink. Um, or like what I drink either. So I think yeah, that's why I tapped out of the drinking game, which I'm okay with. I'm not mad at that. Um, and I'm happy. I mean, that doesn't mean the people around me can't drink. I'm absolutely fine with that. But it just means that there's someone who is able to keep you safe while you drink. Which is how I ended up with the nickname Mum at uni. Even though at uni I did drink a little bit more than what I do now. I mean, to be honest, to be fair, I had 2 drinks last year. And so it's really not hard to beat that. But yeah, I don't. That's how I ended up with the nickname Mum, and I'm kind of okay with that. But anyway, if you made it this far through the video, thank you so much for that. If you want to see more builds like this, I usually come out with 2 builds a week, which will be starting back next month. It's just this month because of this challenge. Every year I do it since last year. Yeah, it's been super fun though. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe. Like I said, 2 videos a week usually, and I will hopefully see you guys in tomorrow's video, and make sure to check out Twitch if you want to see me streaming. But yeah, until then, I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for stopping by, and until then, bye guys.